Portions of the following program may have been pre-recorded.
The following programs, views, claims, or ideas may not reflect those of WSRR Radio or WSRRradio.com. Viewer discretion is advised.
And now, we take you behind enemy lines with Lucas DeRazio and Dom Ferro on WSRR Radio.
All Browns fans will go to heaven where football season's never ending. The leaves have changed, smell it in the air. Where every morning is a Sunday morning, the grill is firing and the drinks are pouring. All Browns fans will go to heaven and our motel can go to hell.
Good Friday morning to you and welcome back to Behind Enemy Lines, the number one sports show in Cleveland on WSR Radio. We're back as always. And this week, though, it's only me. Lucas is not here. He couldn't make it. The guy's busy. He's moving to Philly. He's about to be St. John. He's about to be eating cheesesteaks. So that guy's, I think he's got a lot going on right now with the big move across the state. He's going to the east side. I don't know if that means he's even further behind enemy lines or if he's kind of moving away, if it won't be the same because, you know, he won't get that AFC North feel. But don't worry, we'll be keeping this podcast, this radio show going. So I'll be letting him know what the feel is really behind enemy lines here in Pittsburgh. I'm recording. It is 10:30 p.m. on Thursday, July 9th. We're in Mount Washington in the new place, in the new crib. And it's just me. I got some things I want to get off my chest tonight, a few things that I need to let the people know about. Of course, the World Cup, I feel like that's the biggest thing in the world right now. I mean, it's kind of in the name, World Cup. It's got to be the biggest thing. I mean, it's the dead of summer. Without it, it'd be a tough time right now. It's been pretty decent MLB season. For me, like the Pirates have been, I wouldn't say contenders, but they've been, you know, keeping up. They aren't like, hasn't been as bad as recent seasons. So that's been pretty fun to watch. But I feel like the storylines around the MLB, there's just not a whole lot of captivating stuff. There's nothing like last year where you had Cal Raleigh putting up those numbers as a catcher, something I had never seen in my lifetime. I don't know if you guys had ever seen a catcher do those type of things offensively. So that was pretty cool. Of course, Shohei Ohtani, he's still the man. I feel like there's like some fatigue. I feel like he's like one of those guys that you need to appreciate. People said that about LeBron forever. Like, you just need to appreciate greatness while it's here. I feel like we don't appreciate Shohei Ohtani enough and what he does. And this year, especially getting back to pitching, I think that it's just remarkable. Like I said, there's another guy, something we've just never, ever seen in our lifetimes. So Shohei Ohtani, of course, he's electric, always fun to watch. But yeah, without the World Cup, I feel like it would be a pretty boring summer as far as like things to watch. Like I'm not like Lucas. I'm not watching Love Island. I'm just not watching that stuff. So, yeah, World Cup, it's been giving the people some stuff to watch. It was nice when there were like multiple games, like each day. I think that was fun. Now that we're in like the semifinals, you only get one game a day, and so far they haven't been amazing. I haven't really watched much, but France beat Morocco today, I believe. But yeah, there have been some great World Cup matches, some things that have got me hooked. I don't really want to talk about the U.S. game too much because that was like the most forgetful game I've ever seen in my life, and in any sport, honestly. It was just a sad performance from the U.S. Unfortunately, it turns out Christian Pulisic had like a minor fracture in his leg, so he didn't even play like in the second half. That was tough. But yeah, France won 2-0 today against Morocco. Tomorrow, right after this episode airs, at 3 p.m., Spain versus Belgium. Belgium be the team that took down the U.S. in the past round. I didn't know much about Belgium, but I definitely didn't expect them to look that good. Of course, Spain, I'm acting like I know stuff about soccer, but Spain has like this young prodigy. I don't know how to say his name, honestly. It's like Lamine Yamal, I think is how you say it. But he's like this like 18-year-old kid, and he's supposed to be like the next Messi. And I've seen pictures online. I don't know if this is AI, but it's a picture of Messi holding Yamal as a baby. It's like a photo shoot though. So like I don't know how they linked up, especially when Yamal was a baby, but you got to look that up. Like look up Lamine Yamal, Leo Messi photo. And it's the first one that comes up. Messi's like probably like the same age as Yamal is now. He looks like he's like 18 to 20 some years old. But yeah, Leo Messi, the greatest soccer player of all time, and now this guy who's supposed to be like the next thing. Just the photo blows my mind. I don't understand how it happened. Maybe I'll have to look in that break or maybe tell you guys about it next week once and give this information to Lucas, because I think he'd be interested in this as well. And then on Saturday, this is the game I'm most interested in: Norway versus England. Norway, I'm sure all you guys have seen their star player, Erling Haaland. He's this massive Viking type character. He's got this long blonde hair, and he's huge. Like, he looks like a guy who should be playing in the NFL. And I think if he grew up in the U.S., he would. But yeah, this guy's awesome. He's just like, I haven't seen anyone make this comparison, but he reminds me of like Alexander Ovechkin. Like there's been clips of him. He's not like sprinting around there. He's like, he's a big guy, so he's a brute. He's bumping around. He's not moving too fast. And then when the moment strikes, it's like the most aggressive, violent, kick or header, whatever shot, I guess you'd say in soccer. But this guy's been awesome to watch. So I'm definitely going to be tapping in to Norway versus England to see Haaland. You got to check out Erling Haaland because he just seems like a class act too. He's funny. He posted on Instagram. He was like in Dallas, Texas for one of the games. He had a shirt on that said "You can kiss my Dallas." I don't know. And he was wearing a cowboy hat. So like he's fitting in well in the U.S. I'd love to see him come to like the MLS one day. I know like true soccer purists think the MLS is a joke, but I just can't get into soccer too much. The World Cup has been fun. There have been some really, really great games. England versus Mexico was a fantastic one. In Mexico, that crowd was going nuts. And then, of course, you had Argentina versus Egypt, where Argentina pulled off apparently what was one of the greatest comeback in soccer history, not just World Cup, in soccer history. So Leo Messi continuing to roll on. I'd love to see him get another one. He's just a super likable guy. I feel like Haaland is the most likable soccer player of all time, just because Leo Messi, I think, is a little weird. He doesn't. That's what I've heard, at least. Like I said, I'm not a big soccer guy, but I heard he's like, he's not like super charismatic. He's been in a few commercials, but he never speaks English, which isn't a problem. But like, they're like commercials like where other people are speaking English in them, and he just like makes like, he nods his head or he makes like a noise or something. But Erling Haaland, he's just I think he might captivate the nation if he can take down England, because England's a very likable team as well. They got a couple guys I know, Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham, and that's like that's about a quarter of the soccer players that I know right there. So I think that means something. Norway, England, July 11th at 5 p.m. England is a favorite, minus 118, so that should be an interesting one. I'd love to take Norway. I haven't really bet in a very long time. I'm trying to stay away from that just because, it's a losing proposition. You're never going to win sports betting, but Norway, that's an interesting one. I might have to ride for my boy Haaland. I don't know if you can do prop bets for World Cup, but anytime goal scorer, maybe 2+ goal scorer, I think that could be a real fun one. I think that's about all the World Cup stuff that I wanted to touch on because, like I said, we're only getting one game a day now, so things are kind of slowing down. It's not like nonstop anymore, but it's going to be a fun tournament. I wish the U.S. was still in it. Like I said, that game against Belgium was just a really bad performance. I hope you all didn't sit through the whole thing because that was a sad one. Speaking of sad things, this one kind of ties into sports, but also ties into video games. People have been listening to the show for a while. I'm a big college football fan. College football 25 came out. It was the first time a college football video game came out since 2014, so it was a huge deal. I was there, got the game, and played it a bunch. It was a really fun game. It was great. You could tell that it was a little rough around the edges, but it was still really fun. The gameplay was great. You had all the college teams, the uniforms. Like, it was really, you couldn't ask for much more. Let's just say that. And then you get College Football 26, which came out last July. And that game, they polished some things. They made it a little better. I didn't play it as much just because I feel like I got a little tired of college football. I played so much of 25 that I thought 26 was going to be way different. I don't know why I expected that. But it just, it was still a good game. It might have even been better than 25. I was just, I need to take a little time off. But, it's July again. College football video games come back around. And I'm interested in buying it because, it's been a fun game. I've heard good things. I've seen that, they've implemented NIL in 27 and stuff. So there's some cool things that they're adding to make it a little more fresh. So I'm planning on buying it. And then I see what EA has done, and it might be like the worst decision they've made. If you know anything about EA Sports, you know that they've made plenty of mistakes over the years. They've constantly tried to suck every single dollar out of fans. Madden has completely pushed their focus on the online gameplay where people basically gamble on opening packs. Anyways, that's all bad stuff. It's all horrible. But what they just recently did with College Football 27, which came out July 9th, they added microtransactions to offline modes. So it's like, whatever. You wanna make as much money off of like online modes, that's fine. You wanna make it so people can pay to win, I guess, whatever. But when you take it to like an offline mode where the player should be able to do whatever they want. If you're creating a player, you should be able to make him the best player in the game. You should be able to make him like the worst player. You should be able to do whatever you want is basically the thing. You should be able to choose how fast the progression is of the player, etc. And then, of course, you have like the dynasty mode, which is where you're the coach of a team. You take over the whole program. They've also added microtransactions to that as well, which it's just it's very sad to see. Offline modes is where people should be able to do whatever they want. Take over a team, take over a player, and you shouldn't have to worry about paying extra money to make your player better or make your team better, make your coach upgrade faster. And that's what they've done with College Football 27, and I think it's one of the biggest mistakes EA has made, like I said. And I was planning on buying it. I bought College Football, like the early access the last 2 years. I bought like the bundle, like the College Football Madden bundle. So you get them like 3 days early or something. I did that the last 2 years. This year I didn't do it. The game came out this morning, and I'm not buying it. Like I'm gonna try to hold out as much as possible. I know like probably one person won't make a big difference here, but what they've done I think is very, very greedy. And they're just trying to take advantage of the players, which I don't like. I understand that companies, you have like quotas, you gotta make money, and you gotta make more money every year, I guess. But they gotta find better ways to make money. This can't be the best way to try to get $5 here and there for someone to upgrade their player 1 point. It's just, and the sad thing is, it's not gonna be grown men. For the most part, there will be some grown men buying this stuff, and whoever it is, you're a fool if you're paying money for an offline college football game or online. I think it's all just a waste of money. But anyways, the biggest problem is that it's going to be children. Children are going to be the ones who are taking their parents' credit cards or using every dollar that they have to try to make their player as good as possible. And then a year, the new game's going to come out, and that player, you're never going to play that game again. That player's gone. All that, you bought a $70 game and then you put X amount of money on top of it throughout the year, and then it's gone. So like, yeah, it's going to be kids who are going to be spending money on this stuff, and it's honestly sad. And I think EA is taking advantage of children, and they're taking advantage of their fan base. I mean, it's just not great. It's a sad state of affairs. I hope one day, I really, really hope one day that there's either some other company gets the license to make football games, or we give out multiple licenses. Like, why did that stop happening? There used to be 2K football. There used to be EA football at the same time. They had like a 2K ESPN football 2005 or something like that. So you had two companies making football game. They're competing for two things. They're competing for making the game better. They wanted to have the best game. You obviously, like, to be in that career, I feel like you have to have pride. Like, video games is an art. I don't feel like people understand that. Like, to make that stuff, it might be like the greatest form of art, honestly, because it's like the most immersive. I don't know. That's a conversation for another day. But anyways, these people have to have pride in the games that they make. They want to have the better NFL football game. They want to have the better college football game. So there's that part of that. And then the other competition part is from the business side of things, where the guys don't even care about the game. They just care about the money. But where they're competing is, are you going to make your game $70 or are you going to make your game $65? And I think that's what I think that's what 2K ESPN did back in 2005. I think their game was like $40 and Madden was like $50, something like that. And people still talk about that ESPN football game. And for some reason, the NFL gave one single company the rights to make a video game, a simulation NFL video game, and that was EA. So hopefully that changes one day. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it will be one of the happiest days of my life, because it has been something that I've been, not super passionate. It's not like I'm like posting stuff online. It's just like, I've seen the downfall of sports video games, and it's really sad. It's sad that like sports video games in 2005 are better than the games now. And like, yeah, the gameplay in today's sports games is significantly better, but when you consider everything around the game, all the distractions, the microtransactions, the gambling aspect of all of it, the like, and then you can argue that like esports ruined a lot of it because it's like so competitive to a point now where it's not even fun playing online. But yeah, sports video games are in a bad place. They've been in a bad place for a long time, probably pushing a decade at this point. But I do have hope that there will be better days. I think the NFL is so big and they're so smart. They got to understand that like someone's got to do a better job. I know it's got to be really tough to make a football game. Football is very complex, and but yeah, we got to get someone who's not just taking advantage of people. And that's what's happening in the sports video game world. I haven't played MLB The Show this year. I'm kind of interested, but everything I've seen online, people say it's just a copy and paste from like the last 4 years. So, but those games have always been pretty fun. So yeah, I think that one's pretty good. NHL, that's another one that hasn't changed in a decade. That's another EA title. And then you have NBA 2K, which was like really great at one point. Again, probably like 10 years ago. But the more you try to take advantage of your players, the worse it's going to be in the long time. And like, it's the people at the top. The people developing the game, it's not their problem. Like the college football, the game itself probably isn't bad, but the fact that you can see exactly what the people at the top of the company are trying to do just in plain sight, it leaves a sick taste in my stomach. And it does make me a little worried about the biggest video game of all time, potentially the most hyped video game of all time, which is GTA 6, which is set to drop in November of this year. We'll see if that happens. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets delayed. But that's going to be the most hyped up video game of all time. It's not even a question. It probably already is, and we're months away from that happening. GTA 5 sold like $1 billion in 2 days. This thing's probably going to do way more than that. They've already set the price. Like, it's the most expensive standard version of a video game I've ever seen. I think it's $80. It's like a deluxe edition for $100, which doesn't even give you much. Like back in the day, you'd get a deluxe edition. They'd give you like something with it. Like you buy a deluxe Call of Duty back in 2010, they'd give you like a freaking helmet with it. They'd give you like a replica gun or like dog tags or something. They don't do that stuff anymore. You buy a deluxe edition, they'll give you like a little outfit in the game or something, like, I don't know. And then the other thing is GTA announced that there will be no physical editions of GTA 6, which is a problem for like the future, because that means like they could just shut that off at any time. Like they're like, you're not allowed to play it anymore. You paid to own this thing, but no, you just rent this thing. You don't own it. So that's a problem. But like I said, this all ties back to the EA stuff. I'm worried that there's going to be loads of microtransactions in GTA 6. I'm very worried about it. Like I said, these companies, you got to make more money every single year. And GTA 5 has made so much money. It came out in 2013, and they've made just boatloads of money just off like online. People buying like online money in GTA. They've made billions of dollars in the last 10 years. A game that came out so long ago. It's been on 3 different generations of consoles. So yeah, but they're going to need to make a lot of money. They're going to need to find different ways to make money, and I'm worried, if I'm going to trust anyone, though, it's going to be Rockstar Games. They did a great job with all the GTAs, all the Red Dead Redemption games. So if I'm going to trust anybody, it's going to be them. But if they go over the top with microtransactions, video games might be over for some time. I'm just going to say that. If they bomb on this one, video games, it's not looking good for that whole business. But I have hope. I believe. I trust that they'll save the industry. They'll just bring out a gem. I think it will be. I genuinely do. I feel like I got a little negative here, but I do think things will be all good. And of course, it's just video games at the end of the day. We'll be right back here on Behind Enemy Lines here on WSR Radio. Stick with us.
Based out of Chicago, Synergy Music Studio is built for artists who care about the sound of their music. From recording, mixing, and mastering, to full production and live studio sessions, Synergy works hands-on to help artists turn ideas into finished professional releases. They support the Chicago scene, and they welcome new artists anytime. If you're serious about your sound, start at synergymusicstudio.com today.
Independent music has always been about doing things your own way, not cutting corners, not chasing trends, and definitely not handing everything off to someone who doesn't care about the end result. That's where Hellbender Vinyl comes in. Hellbender Vinyl is Pittsburgh's first and only custom vinyl record pressing plant trusted by artists across the country. They work hands-on with independent musicians to make sure each release sounds right and feels right start to finish. Every project includes 5 free test presses, so quality isn't a guessing game, it's built right into the process. So, if you're serious about your music and how it's released, don't settle for disposable formats. Press it with Hellbender Vinyl. Hellbent on quality, hellbent on service, hellbendervinyl.com.
Calling it like they see it. Lucas and Dom are back on WSRR Radio.
Welcome back. Behind Enemy Lines here on WSR Radio. We're proudly brought to you, as always, by GenericClothes.com. Nobody cares about the details. Get to the point at GenericClothes.com. Right, what's the difference between the shirt you're currently wearing and the one that I am? Listen, both do their jobs in concealing us from the outside world and social boundaries. But one little black swoosh makes yours cost nearly double. That red rectangle may not change how warm you are, but certainly changes the price tag. The truth is, nobody cares about the details. Get to the point with GenericClothes.com. That's GenericClothes.com. Not .com. What am I talking about? It's .com. GenericClothes.com. We love them. Thank you, as always, to them for sponsoring this beautiful program. If you're just joining us, it is just me on the program today. Dom Lucas is busy. He's got things going on. I've been there. Trust me. I've had things going on before. Let me tell you. No, we do not have time for that today. I blew through a lot of my topics in the last segment, but don't worry, because I got something really interesting that I think you guys will like. Yahoo, you know about them. The old website that got they kind of fumbled the bag, I'm pretty sure. I think they were like a search engine and they just lost the bag to Google. Anyways, Yahoo. And now, today, they're mostly known for their fantasy sports. If you're an OG, if you're an old head, if you're an unk like me, you still use Yahoo Fantasy Sports because it's just what you've used since 2013. I feel like if you're young, if you're just getting into fantasy football, I don't know who would use Yahoo Fantasy Sports because it's not like super visually appealing. It's not, it's not the kids aren't talking about. Let's just say that the kids are talking about ESPN. They're talking about Sleeper. They're talking about dynasties. They're talking about doing the entire team. They're talking about drafting the offensive line and stuff. That's what those kids are doing. But for us people who respect the game of fantasy football, who respects the tradition, the classics, we're still on Yahoo Fantasy Sports and we're still loving it, even if it is the ugliest app out there. But they may have just rebounded. They may have just saved the entire company because they came out with something today called College Fantasy Football. That's right. College Fantasy Football is coming to Yahoo. You can make a league. You can join a league. It's time. That's right. You now don't have to just sweat your fantasy team on Thursdays, Sundays, Mondays, and every single holiday during the year with NFL. Now you get to sweat on Saturdays as well. It's going to be nonstop. It's going to be action. It says here, drafts open August 3rd. Scoring starts week 1, September 3rd. So you got a month to get in. I believe what I saw earlier, just Power 4. So you can't be going with some deep cuts here. You can't. I think that'd be fun though. If you could find like a gem, find like a guy who goes to like, Duquesne. I want to go real deep. I want to go real deep in our bag here. And just find some guy who just pops off. Trying to think of a guy like that. I'll have to think on that one for later. A guy who just went to if you just found a Big Ben Roethlisberger, you took him out in college football, fantasy. I think that'd be pretty awesome. Yeah. These guys, they got Eli Manning over at Ole Miss. They got so and so, but. Yeah, I drafted Big Ben from Miami of Ohio. I feel like that would be pretty tough. But the default starting rosters, you get 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, a tight end, 2 flexes, a defense, and 1 team offense. That's interesting, a team offense. How will that work, you say? Well, I'm going to tell you. The team offense position is designed to reward efficient, high-scoring units that minimize mistakes while continuing to play at a high level for 60 minutes each week, including second stringers and freshmen who are salting games away in the fourth quarter. Every touchdown, field goal, and victory earns fantasy points, while turnovers are extremely costly in comparison. Ooh, I really like that idea. That's pretty interesting. That's pretty innovative. I think I'd be I don't know if I'd want that in my like NFL fantasy league, but I think this is going to be very cool for college just because college is so sporadic. I feel like any guy can just put up crazy numbers any given day. Whereas NFL, I feel like it's a little more consistent. There's more defined ranges in the NFL. I feel like we know these receivers, we know these cornerbacks. In college, unless you're a sicko, we don't know who these guys are. We don't know you got to be a sicko. That's all I'm saying. Team offense, though, I'm very, very excited to see what that. There's a few different scoring categories here. Touchdown scored any type. All right, you get 3 points for that. First 300 yards of offense, you'll get 1.5 points. Every 50 yards additional, you'll get 1/4 of a point. Okay, so it's not too crazy. It's not like the offense is gonna flip games. A turnover will be -2. Field goal made will be +1. Team wins a game +1. Team loses a game -1. I like this. I like this a lot. I feel like the +1, -1 should be in the NFL fantasy. I don't think it is, but it should be. It genuinely should be. So that's going to be really interesting. I feel like team offense is a great way to really get, find your team. Unfortunately, the point swings aren't going to be too crazy with that position, but I feel like I gotta get in the league for this, and whoever my team offense is, it might be the team that I watch like all college football season. I don't really have like a huge allegiance to any college football team. I like Pitt. Some things about like Pitt annoy me, especially like living in Pittsburgh, being around a bunch of like Pitt fans, Pitt alumni. Like, I think Pitt. I just think their fans think they're better than they are. I think they think they're like in the upper echelon of college football programs, and they're just not. And they're not really close either. But that's a conversation for another day. Yeah, I don't think I'd draft Pitt team offense. Maybe though. Heinzel's pretty electric. I'd like to get like Oregon, of course. You'd like to see them. Let's see here. Going back to like 2025, if they scored team offenses, there would have been only 6 teams to score 200 points during the season. So that's 200 points over 12 games. Ohio State had 200 on the nose. Vanderbilt had 205. Utah 206. Notre Dame 210. Texas Tech 211. And first overall, you guessed it, Indiana 239. Just a massive outlier. It just shows how efficient Fernando Mendoza was with the ball. Just very, very safe player. Just a standout quarterback, the Heisman for a reason. I think he's going to be an electric player for the Raiders this upcoming season. So Indiana 240. I think you can't go wrong going with them. Of course, you got Coach Sig, so you could take them this year, but I don't think you're going to get the same exact results. Texas Tech is one. When I saw that one on there, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I think they're another team. I'm just going to call my shot here. I think they're going to be first this year in the team offense category on Yahoo Sports college football. Notre Dame, of course, they're always great. Utah, that one surprised me a little bit, not going to lie. Vanderbilt surprised me just because it was above Ohio State. I know Vanderbilt, they had a great offense last year. Pavia was nice, but to see Ohio State a little bit below them, that's going to be surprising. So it's kind of a crapshoot, it seems like, outside of like the national champions, Indiana. But I like Texas Tech a lot. I might snag them up. Oregon was the next closest with 197, Ole Miss 196, Tennessee 193, A&M 181, and USC 177. So it's not like it's gonna be anything crazy, the team offense, but it's pretty revolutionary, I'd say. There's some other things in here about like the release. The running backs rule the top of the draft apparently, so that's where you're gonna want to hammer early on. Yeah, it says run-friendly systems with a clear path to 200 touches of the most projectable skill positions. But then it goes on to say later on that wide receivers are the toughest position to project. And I feel like that'll be the most interesting one to draft because I feel like every year you go into college football thinking like, oh, this is going to be the number one receiver. And then he just isn't. Outside, Jeremiah Smith was last year. But yeah, once you gotta go deep in your bag at that first and second flex position, I think it's gonna be interesting. Tight end's another one. I have no clue really. But I feel like the waiver wire could be really, really fun in college football. Guys just pop out from nowhere. And then of course, like the college football schedule is just crazy. You have more bye weeks. So there's gonna be more management as well. I would definitely be trying to get a college football fantasy football league. You know what? I just came up with a great idea. I think that we should make a Behind Enemy Lines WSRR college football fantasy football league on Yahoo. I will set it up. I'll get Lucas on board. We'll plan it. We'll give you the info next week. We'll post it on our Discord. Make sure you join the WSR Radio Discord. You can find that on WSRradio.com. Of course, you can find our merch there as well. But yeah, let us know how hyped you are for college football fantasy football. Sorry, I got confused with college football, the video game, because I was complaining about that so much in the last segment. College football, video game, bad. College football, fantasy football, good. There's just a lot of words there. College football, fantasy football, that's just way too much to say. I think I said that too much. But I'm very hyped, and I can't wait. I think it's gonna be good, and I think college football, it's unpredictable with the scoring, but it's also unpredictable with the characters. Like I feel like sorry. Lucas just texted me. He said talk about Braun to the Cavs. I'm making sure that isn't breaking news. I don't think it is. I think he played me. I think he just yeah, he disrupted the flow. I'm out of my flow state. I was in flow state for a little bit. I'm out of it. I don't even remember what I was talking about. College football, fantasy football. Too many football words in this segment already. Conor McGregor, he fights this weekend. He's back. He fights for the first time in years. I think he last fought Dustin Poirier. I believe that was like 2 or 3 years ago. He broke his leg, but he's back. McGregor's back. He's doing his press conference right now. He's singing. He's getting Max Holloway's fight. If Conor McGregor wins this, it would be electric. Yeah, the downfall of McGregor's been tough to watch ever since he lost to Khabib. It hasn't been great to see, especially breaking his leg against Poirier, and then the Joe Rogan interviews him right after in the octagon with his leg snapped in half, and it's Conor McGregor is of course acting like a fool because he's in so much pain, and Conor McGregor, for the young people listening, he used to be the coolest guy in the world. People probably watch him now and he's like, hey, this guy's a little corny. That guy was the coolest guy in the world, and I don't even say that with the joke. When he was going up against Floyd Mayweather, he had a swagger. It wasn't even Mayweather because he had so many better moments in the UFC. But the Mayweather one, I think, is the one that put him on top. Those press conferences are generational. And then the fight, he lost that fight against Mayweather, but it was probably, the best fight I've seen Mayweather have. He lasted, I think it was 4 rounds against him. That's saying something. A guy who never had a professional boxing match in his life went 4 rounds against you could say the greatest boxer of all time based on the record, but I ain't saying that. I'm definitely not saying that. But the greatest of his generation, you could say that. He picked and chose his fights, and it worked out for him. Obviously, he's Money Mayweather. But Conor McGregor, he had that different swagger, that Irish swagger, and in the UFC, he just he's a generational guy. And it's not generational talent. He was awesome. That left hand, that left hook was unbelievable at one time, but generational as far as the charisma. I don't think you've ever seen a guy who could take over an entire arena. Everybody loved McGregor at one point. It's probably hard for a lot of people to believe now because of all the things that he's done. There's been plenty of bad allegations against him, but back in the day, watching McGregor fight, watching McGregor press conferences, nothing better. McGregor versus Nate Diaz, those two fights are up there with some of the greatest fights of all time. I was saying Mayweather's not the greatest boxer of all time. I'll tell you the greatest boxer of all time, it's Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, there's Sonny Liston. There's plenty of guys that are had brutal fights back in the day, and they're the greatest fights of all time. The Thrill in Manila, you watch that fight and you're I see why these guys didn't live to be super old. They had good lives for sure. I mean, Muhammad Ali, it was rough for him towards the end, I believe. But those fights, they're fighting in 90-degree weather, and they're just slugging at each other. But going back to McGregor, McGregor versus Diaz, those fights compare. They're not I'm not saying they're on the same level as the Thrill in Manila or Ali versus Liston 1 or 2. But if we're doing a modern comparison, those McGregor Diaz fights are better than any boxing match that we've seen in the last 30 years probably. Tyson was probably within the range, probably in the last 20 years. I don't know. Tyson probably wasn't doing it. Maybe. I don't know. I wasn't around back then, so I wouldn't know. I didn't get to see. I got to see Tyson fight Jake Paul Got to see him take his pants off and get embarrassed out there. I felt bad for Mike. Mike Tyson's been pretty quiet since that fight. He used to have a podcast. He probably still does, but like used to see his clips all the time from his podcast. I haven't seen Mike since that fight. It was bad, man. That was tough. Tough to see Mike go out like that because he's a legend. You watch those clips and you're like, "Bull," like that. He was going out there to like kill people. He was not messing around at all. And that's kind of how McGregor was in a few of those fights. But of course, Father Time gets everyone at the end of the day. There's a few people who doesn't get, like LeBron James. Like, I got to look into like whatever these rumors are during the break. We're about to head to break soon, but LeBron might be going back to Cleveland. Huh? He's gaining some momentum, people. Something about a cupcake lady. We're going to find out more about this when we come back in the break. Stick around because you're going to hear why LeBron's coming back to the land.
Nobody cares about the details, seriously. Not the logo, not the stitching, and not the tiny symbol that magically doubles the price of the t-shirt. Think about it. The shirt you're wearing right now and the one I'm wearing do the exact same job. They cover us, they keep us warm, and they stop us from being arrested for public indecency. The only difference is a swoosh, a rectangle, or a name that convinced you it was worth more money. That's where GenericClothes.com comes in. They skip the branding nonsense and get straight to the point. Shirts that literally say what they are. Sports team, political statement, music band. No hype, no pretending, just honesty and a sense of humor at the expense of big clothing brands. If you're tired of paying extra for a logo that nobody actually cares about, or you want the perfect gift for someone who actually gets the joke, head to GenericClothes.com. Nobody cares about the details. Get to the point.
Playing the ball where it lies. Lucas and Dom are back on WSRR Radio.
Welcome back to Behind Enemy Lines. We are back, and we got some action to talk about. I teased it a little bit going into break. LeBron James, some momentum into him coming back to Cleveland. That's picking up, folks. It's heating up. We're going to get right into that. But first, we got to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by Synergy Music Studio. Synergy Music Studio offers a diverse array of musical services specifically crafted to meet their clients' needs. From recording to mixing to production and even live studio sessions, discover how Synergy Music can bring your vision to life. Not only do they support the local music scene in Chicago, but nationwide with services like reamping that allow for adjustments to tone and sound characteristics of your old recordings. So visit synergymusicstudio.com today to get started, but don't just take my word for it. Hear Synergy in action for yourself with this next song. Hit that music. I hope Style put some music in there. He may have not, and that's okay. That's all good because we got more important things like LeBron James, folks. Like that's the most important thing potentially on this show. You could make it like a tier list of like the most important things of the show. LeBron would be S tier with like the Rizzler. What else? That might be it. That honestly might be it. But going into the break, I teased something. I heard about this cupcake lady. Lucas sent me this tweet from at ESPN Cleveland. It's the verified one too. It's even got the gold check mark. That's how you know it's legit. It says Cupcake Lady is back with LeBron sources. Eye emoji, eye emoji, eye emoji. If you remember, she helped break the story in 2014. Hashtag LeBron Watch 2026. And it's a screenshot of like an Instagram post from this restaurant called Poke Fresh, Ohio. Which used to be, or which is currently owned by a guy who used to own a company called Caroline's Cupcakes in the very same space from 2009 to 2016. Anyways, apparently Caroline's Cupcakes helped break the news back in 2014 about LeBron coming back to the Cavs when from Miami. So what they wrote on their Facebook page said, just texted with a friend who is directly tied in with LeBron and his camp, and he swears on his life, hashtag the return to Cleveland is a done deal. Per his sources, calls have already been made to other current Cavaliers to spread the news. If this is true, and like anything on the internet, take with a grain of salt. Are you ready to get out your old jersey and welcome LeBron home? And then apparently, he's bringing Bronny and Draymond with him. So they also say, if you don't believe me, Google Caroline Cupcakes plus LeBron to check my credentials. This ain't my first rodeo. So, folks, it's looking like it's possible. I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. I feel like they kind of jumped the shark when they added Bronny and Draymond. I think Bronny would be cool. I don't know how it works because I think he just, like secured like guaranteed money in his contract with the Lakers. But Draymond, maybe. I guess like he turned down his option with the Warriors. I feel like at that point, the Warriors, and I feel like a lot of fans thought that LeBron was going to be going there. Like Draymond was going to take a pay cut or something, and that's how they'd get LeBron. But at this point, it doesn't seem like LeBron is too worried about the money. And I think the Golden State thing, I at this point, I'd be shocked if that happens. I think that's kind of, if that was going to be the move, I think that would have been made pretty early on. Like, the opportunity was there. Like, I just feel like that's just past us at this point. So like the two likely options at this point, I think, is Miami and Cleveland, and it's been that way this whole time. I know I said Golden State a couple weeks ago, but it's really those two teams at this point. And if it's not about the money, I just think it's got to be Cleveland. I think it's a little. I think it makes too much sense. If he goes to either spot, like we mentioned on the podcast before, he still has won a ring with every team he played for, and that's important. Like Golden State, that would be a risky one. You could go there and you could look like Mike with the Wizards. You don't want to look like Mike with the Wizards, all right? Because you see Mike in a Wizards jersey and you're just like, the first thing you think of is washed. I don't want to look back in 20, 30 years and see a picture of LeBron in a Warriors jersey and think wash. Because I don't know if you've seen like LeBron recently, but his beard is very gray. Like he looks washed. He isn't washed. He's definitely not washed. He's still got it. He's still balling. And I think he could keep going for a long time. I don't think he will. I think this is the last year. But yeah, Bron's got that gray beard going. So I don't want to see him in that Warriors jersey looking washed. I want to see him in that Cavs jersey with Bronny. I mean, that's really what you want. Like, see him in a Heat jersey with Giannis. Yeah, it'd be cool. Like, that'd be a really good team. Of course, you have Bam Adebayo as well, and other players on that roster and they'd probably add other people as well. So it would definitely be still fun to watch because LeBron's there. But what we all want to see is Bronny, LeBron in that Cavs jersey. I just don't want to see the photo of them walking off the court with his arm around Bronny and then his other arm around Draymond. Like if that happens, we gotta crop Draymond out. We gotta just frame the one of LeBron and Bronny because that'll be all time. It's really cool to see LeBron and Bronny playing together on the Lakers, but doing it on the Cavs would be even cooler. It would just be great. I'd be shocked if there was ever another father-son duo who played on two separate teams together. Like, I know Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr., they played on the Mariners together. I don't think Ken Griffey Sr. played on the Reds at all. But yeah, that might be an interesting question to ask ChatGPT. One of the you should ask it because I'm trying to do a show here, folks. Ken Griffey Sr. did play for the. He played for the Reds. He did not play for the. Yeah, I don't think he played for the Mariners. I don't know why I thought he did. Thought I'd seen. Oh wait, he did. Yeah, okay. He signed with the Mariners to like conclude his last season. Oh, and he started his... Okay, so they didn't play on the Reds together. They both did play on the Reds, just at separate times. So yeah, I think LeBron and Bronny would be the first father-son duo to play on separate teams at the same time. I think that'd be really cool. It would be an all-time moment. Like, you used to see, I mean, at least me, like, I used to love, like, looking at, like, Sports Illustrated and stuff. Like, you'd see stuff like Ken Griffey and his dad, like, pictures of that, and you'd be like, man, like, it would be really cool to see, like, something like that, and like, we're seeing it now. So, appreciate greatness. This last season of LeBron will be very fun to watch, wherever he goes. Even if it is Golden State, even if he is washed, we will be tapping in. And it might not be the last year. I could see him keep going, but I think he's big into golf now. Like, it seems like he's already like, yeah, he's got one toe in the water of retirement. It feels like I think he's ready to go. But yeah, LeBron to Cleveland. Apparently, LeBron and Draymond were playing golf together in Puerto Rico, so them hanging out during this time. You know, one could assume that they might be sticking together here wherever that next move is, or maybe that'd be a crazy thing to say. All right, we got a few minutes left here. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. I'm trying to see. We talked about the World Cup. We talked about. Oh, this is the last thing I wanted to talk about, and this is a good spot to end it on. The ebbs and the flows of the NFL season. It was chaos for a little bit in the NFL. There's a point where we had trades left and right. Myles Garrett to the Rams. You just had chaos during the offseason. You had the Mike Vrabel situation. It was just, there were ebbs and flows. You get these loud points and these quiet points. Right now we're in the calm before the storm. It's July. We're just less than 10 weeks away from the NFL season starting, folks. 10 weeks. Hold on. We are almost there, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm fired up. I think it's going to be a great season. Last year on this show, you might have heard I wasn't feeling the NFL. I felt like it they were missing something. But this year, I think they got it. I think the storylines are aligning. That's the calm before the storm. I'm feeling it. I feel like it's going to be an electric season. I feel like it's going to be competitive just as last year. But I think we're actually going to see great teams. I think we're going to see guys really break out. I think we're going to see some stars. And I feel like that's kind of what the league needs a little bit more of. You might say it's not, it should be more team-driven, not enough star-driven. I think we need some guys to break out this year. We have some great talents in the NFL, but I think this year, whatever the Super Bowl matchup is going to be, it's going to be the two best teams in the league because there's going to be some dogs and they're going to be hungry. And we're hungry on this show, as always. We're hungry, and you should be hungry, too, for more episodes because we're going to be back next Friday at 10 a.m., same spot, same time. Thank you all for sticking with us, and have a great night and day. Peace.
The preceding program was a sponsored production. The views, claims, and ideas expressed may not represent those of WSRR Radio.